everybody.
Hi.
It's Laura here, and
Amanda.
I never know in the video, like podcast is one thing, but in the video, I'm like, which side of me are you on? I always point the wrong way when the video comes out. Okay, so welcome to today's episode of Fit Chicks Chat. We are chatting about one of our favorite topics today, and that is business.
Yeah.
So for all of our peeps out there, I know that on Thursdays, every second Thursday, we talk about business. So this is kind of a conversational podcast. We're not really going to follow a certain flow. We're just going to chat about our experience with launching Fit Chicks, taking it from an in-person business to online, and kind of what goes along with that. Because, you know, we have our fitness and nutrition expert program. One of the sections of it is the business section, right? And we have so many amazing women who are now becoming coaches, and now we're helping them start their businesses and just kind of having some real talk about it. Because, you know, online right now, you're seeing a ton of stuff about, like, you know, blow up your business in 30 days and like build a 7-figure business in like 40 minutes or whatever the heck it is.
Overnight.
Yeah. And it's like, it's literally like, it's one of those things I'm like, oh my gosh, like, no, don't read this. So I just want to kind of talk about our experience, the good, the bad, the ugly, and kind of what that kind of looks like. So Miss Amanda.
Yeah, I think, wait, before you jump in and ask me any questions, put me on the hot seat. I think I just want to add to that. Like, you know, I do think that, you know, there is possibility that like our business took us 10 years to get to where we're at. Like we've been in business for 10 years.
Yeah.
And we've been building in pieces, right? And building and growing and expanding. And it's been shifting and changing and turning. And like, it started as an in-person program, and then it's been growing and changing and shifting to now. But what we've been doing is trying to make sure that our business grows with us. So it grows with us personally and professionally. So what do we want to achieve personally? What do we want to achieve professionally? Does it fit with our lifestyle? There's so many different avenues that we could have taken, that we talked about taking, you know, opening up a studio or opening up a gym or all these things that we investigated. We were like, oh, maybe we want to do that. But then we were like, probably not, because when we had an office, we didn't want to go into the office.
Yeah, we literally got an office. So this is a side note story, Amanda, we have to tell us. So it was probably around year number 3 or year number 4. And we were still in that mindset of like, to be a professional business, you had to have an office, right? Yeah. And so we were like, okay, we looked all over. We found this space in downtown Toronto that literally was like, it was an old business, old building, a heritage.
It was a cool building. Yeah.
It was a cool building, except we only had enough money to rent the closet, which it was a closet, little tiny closet office thing. We painted it and turned it into this really cool space. But
yeah, thanks to Joey, my buddy Joey, who went in and renovated the whole thing for us, because we didn't want to do that.
And then we ended up, they tore down the building and built all this expensive things. But this office that we had, which literally was like a 10-minute walk, we still never went into, because we're like,
no, I didn't want to. I was like, oh, it's your turn. I don't want to go in the office. I don't want to go in the office. We felt like we had to have it to be professional, and it's like this weird thing. But anyways, my point being though, guys, is like, you know, it's taken us 10 years. I'm not saying it has to take you 10 years, and we're going to talk about a bunch of different things today, but it doesn't have to take you 10 years to get to this place, to where we're at, to where you want to get to. This is just how our journey has went. And I know other coaches, like when I was speaking with DMA last week, you know, she was saying like, she's went from $47 in her bank account to an 8-figure business in 5 years. So it is like, there is different scenarios that are going to happen for different people, but just know that like this overnight success stuff is like 1 in a million, really. Like, it's like a lottery thing. Like if you're following something, or if you're investing money into something that is telling you, we're going to do this overnight, or we're going to do this and we're going to build you a 7-figure model overnight or something like that, like, know that like, that you may be investing in something that may not get you the results that you're hoping for, right?
Or
so caution.
Or you may get the results, but it's going to take, you know, if it doesn't happen in 30 days, don't feel like you're a failure. Because I mean, that's one thing that I've kind of learned throughout this process. It's kind of like also listening to like your inner voice, like what you were saying, like we built a business based on our lifestyle, like what we want in our life. So for
Yeah.
Mary, who owns XYZ Fitness, that might, like, the way we do it might not work for her. She might need a studio and she might need an office and all of those things. But, there was a period of time where, because when we first started our business, I'm going to kind of backtrack a bit here. A lot of people think because we were in corporate before we started Fit Chicks, that we like totally knew everything about business and we knew how to be entrepreneurs, which is totally false. Like, I went to business school at a time where we still were buying ads. You know what I mean? They were teaching you how to buy billboard space, where like, I don't even think they sell that anymore. And, it was all about having a storefront and having, bricks and mortar and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And they teach you nothing about, and I also went for marketing. I worked in international marketing for a long time. You worked in sales and events, but they didn't teach you how to like essentially grow, run, market, the systems you need in place, the things that you need to support your business, the mindset, the accounting, the blah, 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 blah. Like, there's so many things that go along with it. So when we first started, it's not as if we were like, yeah, we know exactly what we were doing. We were learning as we went. We're still learning as we go, which is an amazing thing about life, though, is that as soon as someone says that they have completely mastered their craft, then they should be doing something different, because we're all students of life. Like, and especially with the internet, things change so quickly and so fast. If you're not constantly learning, then you are going to end up being like out of the game pretty quickly. Right?
Yeah. You'll be like the dinosaur of the internet in like the matter of a year. Like, literally, it's so fast. Everything switches and changes and the systems change and they evolve so quickly, and you have to keep learning and growing and paying attention. And that's why I know, like, you and I both, we try to dedicate at least one day a week to like development, like self-development, like whether it's like reading or learning or watching videos or reading different articles or whatever. I do it like every day. I try to like read some different articles and stuff online, but like when I'm actually like trying to like, whether it's following a webinar or doing something, I try to make sure that I do that at least once a week, because I feel like there's just so much more to learn. There's so much more.
Totally. And it can be super overwhelming, but this is why, like, we wanted to talk about this stuff today too, is that there are processes though that can make this a lot easier. There's processes that can make this for anyone who's a lot easier. And also, coming from people who have gone through it, we are hoping we can help you. But just like what I was saying earlier about like how we started and we didn't know what we were doing. Like, we knew kind of stuff, but we're open to learning. But the one thing I also want to say too is just back to that story about the office. It's like, there was a point at the beginning.
Sorry, you cut out. I lost you.
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Hi.
I lost you for a second there.
The darn
I just can't see you. Yeah.
But yeah, there was a like at the beginning of this process, when we were first, when I was talking about the office story, basically, like, even back then, it was like, we thought other people, even though we wouldn't admit it, we were letting other people dictate what was best for us. So it was like, at that point in our business, we were still new and we didn't have the confidence to really kind of make decisions. Like, we still thought we had to do this to look a certain way, or,
oh God, yeah.
run things. Like, if somebody told us, okay, well, to be a professional, you need to be like, I don't know, having team retreats every month, corporate retreats or whatever. Yeah. Well, we realized, like, throughout the process, what we love working remote. Like, I love working sometimes with no pants on. Just happened. No one's here to tell me what to do, but I also I love it. I love it. And I've always loved this, even when we just had our boot camps and having, because we always rented public space. We never carried overhead. We had that freedom to move and to grow and to shut things down and open them up really quickly, because we were always in public spaces. And that's one thing, even now with us moving more and more of our focus into the online, is that we have the ability to reach more people. And we have the ability to be able to still deliver that value and help other women start their careers and help other women get healthy. And we don't need to physically be there. So for me, that's something I love, because I don't like feeling like I have to be somewhere every day. Like,
no, for sure. I don't like it at all. It stresses me out more than anything in the whole world. The idea of having to go somewhere constantly. Like, even when we were filming our TV series or anything like that, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to be all the way up north Toronto to go to film in the morning, and I'm going to be there all day. And what am I going to bring to eat? And like all these things run through my brain. It's like, it's so
annoying.
stressful versus like, I work from home. I'm like, cool. I'm hungry. I've got food in my fridge. Everything's like easy. Like I find there's so much more ease for me. I know that working from home is not for everybody though, because for a lot of people working from home is like too distracting. But I find that because it's our business, like because it's like my baby, like it's this thing that I love and I care about so much and I enjoy doing so much, I don't get as distracted as if I was maybe working from home for someone else. Like if I was working from home and I was like working from home because that's like my job and I work for a company, I probably wouldn't do half the amount of work that I do.
Yeah. I think that being an entrepreneur, it's like, it definitely is a different mindset, because you do have to have like self-structure. You know what I mean? Like no one's telling you have to go to work today. Actually, I was just with my mom this past weekend, and we went for a power walk. And I was just talking to her about our latest launch and how we just launched, we had a huge group of fitness and nutrition experts, and it was so exciting. And how like our plans for growth with that. And she's like, oh my gosh, she's like, you always talk about it though, like you just seem so like calm. Like it's never like you're like, oh, I'm stressed about this or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know why that is. I'm like, I don't like, but she's like, I would never be able to be like that. But I'm like, my brain, I think too, because I'm so in it, I look at all the pieces. I'm not just looking at the outcome, but she's looking at the outcome.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like when somebody has like, when you suddenly have your first sold out program and someone hears, oh, great, you've got that sold out program. That's amazing. And then for you, you're like, oh yeah, it's great. Like you're excited. But at the same time, it's like, because you're so in all the details. I don't know. For me, I personally find like the closer I get to my goal, the kind of more I start to think about the next goal, which is bad sometimes.
No, I'm the same. I already was like, well, how are we going to scale next time? What are we going to do differently?
Completely. But this is where, so just to give everybody a little bit of the idea of kind of, like I was saying, we started in person 10 years ago. We had our boot camps. We started throughout the time, like we were expanding with the boot camps in person. And then we started realizing, okay, we want to start doing things like retreats. We did a DVD line. We had a television show. We kept doing all these kind of like random different things. And throughout that time though, I remember we got business coaches. We had these two business coaches, and we were trying to figure out what we wanted to do in kind of terms of next steps. Because we had been doing the boot camps for a while. We're still doing the boot camps, but we've been doing the boot camps for a while. And it was just for us, I felt like personally, we had kind of hit the wall. And I remember we're like, what do we want to do? And we were going through with them kind of our next ideas and our next steps. And one of the things that we're like, okay, why don't you try like to really like franchise out your boot camps and really build out more locations. And I remember just feeling anxious and nauseous about it, but not in a good way. Like, nervous, excited versus like,
no, when you're just like, no. Like there's like a signal going off in your gut and in your brain that's like a big caution sign or a big stop sign. That's how I felt too. Jumping into this though, like that was also around the same time that we were on Dragon's Den, and we got that deal. Because we got this deal with Michael Weckerly. And I remember we were going through the due diligence after. So guys, just so you know, when you go through Dragon's Den, just as like a little side note, inside scoop. When you go into Dragon's Den, you actually they do actually not know anything about who you are or your business. So it actually is completely blind. So it's really kind of cool. It's a cool experiment, right? So we went in, we ended up going in and we started our pitch, and he offered to us within like 2 minutes. Remember? It was crazy. Like he offered to us, and when he offered to us, we didn't even finish our pitch at that time. So we were like,
and we were like, because we practiced,
we're gonna keep going.
Yeah, we practiced everything.
We're just gonna keep talking. We don't even know what to say right now. So we're just gonna keep going and pretend like you didn't even talk and offer us money. And we went through the whole process. We answered all the questions, and in the end, we ended up shaking hands with him and kind of. But then what happens is afterwards, you then go through the due diligence, right? So the due diligence with his team. basically just going through the real numbers. Cause you can go in there, you could say whatever you want. Like we could be like, oh yeah, we make like $1 million a day. Right. And like, you have to prove your numbers, but you have to prove it after with your due diligence. So afterwards we're going through the due diligence. And that was around the same time that we had these business coaches and we were working through it, and they were suggesting franchising and everything else. And he was saying, how can you scale? We want you to start working with like pre and postnatal men, this and that. And we were like, like,
no.
Yeah. And work with products that we didn't believe in. And we were just like, holy smokes. Like, this is like, it's taking our business that we've been building, that we love, and this brand that we've built, and it's taking it to these areas that we are just like completely not interested in.
No.
Not because it's like something that we don't agree with, but just something that doesn't speak to us. And we were like, man, what do we do? And we were just like, let's just say no. Let's say no to everything. I remember that day when we felt so free, though. Do you remember that?
Because we were like, what? We're like, what do we
We're not doing it. We're not moving forward.
Well, and that's like one big lesson that I have learned throughout business too, is that the things you say no to are just as important as the things you say yes to. And we're kind of in this like society where it's like, you know, have the year of yes, like say yes to everything, which I agree with being open and stuff like that. But I also believe that you, like, every time you say no to something, you're opening up opportunity for something different. Every time you say yes to something, you're closing up time for something different. So make sure that those are things not only that could be like lucrative for your business, but fire you up. Cause like, I remember too, that this one guy reached out to us about filming a pilot for a TV show. And I
remember.
And I remember you were like, you know, we should do it. We should do it. I'm like, do you know how much time this is going to take? Like, literally, like, this is going to take so much time. And he was like, the vibe I was getting from him, I didn't like it. And I was just like, I'm not into this. Like, and in theory, most people will be like, oh my God, you got offered like a pilot. You should totally go for it. But it was just like everything about the timing. We were just about to start the academy and like all this stuff. It's like, you've got to be really clear. And this is where, you know, I think at the very beginning, if you're just starting your business now, like, just sit down and write out, like, what kind of life do you want? Like, in our fitness and nutrition expert program, one of the assignments that they have to do in the wellness section is creating their vivid vision and getting clear on not just the business they want to create, but what life, like, what do they see their life like? Do they see their life managing 500 people? Do they see themselves just still being a solopreneur and it's just them? Like, there's no right or wrong answer, but like, you've got to sit down and do that deep kind of soul searching, because you can't create anything if you don't even have an idea kind of what roots you're starting from. Right.
Well,
like,
and what I was going to say too is like and I talk to this a lot about this with our students and with anyone who's interested in the program, I always tell them, like, it's so important to get clear on what you want in your life personally, because then you can build your business to support that. But until you know what you want, you can't support one or the other. It's like, because if you say, I want freedom, but then you build a business that you have a studio that you've got to be at from 9 to 9, you're not answering the call of your life, right? Like, there's this thing that your life that you're saying you want. So you've got to make sure that they match, or else you're going to be in constant conflict with yourself on where you're going to go.
And doing that exercise, like, and sometimes, like, I always say to my students, like, to our students too, I'm like, when you do this, you know, go somewhere where you feel inspired. So maybe it is at like the cottage or by the lake, or some people like to go to Starbucks.
Or like when we went to Hawaii.
Like, we do this exercise even ourselves all the time. We did one of our last ones. We were in Grand Bend, Ontario, where we have our retreats too. And we actually were on the beach.
The first time we did it though was in Hawaii.
But also Grand Bend's amazing too. Shameless plug for our next retreats. But we have, like, they have one of the top 10 sunsets in all of North America. It's stunning. And we sat there and we wrote from a place of not our head and not numbers, just like, what do you want? Especially because there's two of us, and it's like being in a marriage, right? Like, we have a child, which is Fit Chicks. We're co-parents of it. And, you know, we both have to be 50-50 or it's not going to work. So it's like, it's having those honest discussions, especially as you get older and life changes and things change. Like, so I always say to anybody, whether you're starting like in person or online, you've got to do that work at the beginning. You've got to get clear, because like you said, if not, you cannot build a business that's going to support your life. You're going to end up building a life that's going to, or move your life to try to support this business. And it's going to feel really icky.
It's not good. It's going to stress you out. It's going to make you really uncomfortable, and it's going to make you, and that's why, like, when you were talking about in the beginning, like, that's where we started our business. But like when I was saying earlier, like our business has evolved with us. Yeah. Because when we first started, we were doing in-class programs. We were running around. We were teaching boot camp 4 nights a week, back-to-back classes, this and that. That's when I was like a young spring chicken. Now
you're still a young spring chicken.
Now I'm like, I'm 39. I've got a baby. Like I'm like busy. Like I'm tired at night. And I'm like, man, the idea of teaching, if I had to teach 4 nights a week, still back-to-back classes and stuff, I could physically do it. But
you don't want to do it.
That's not where I want to be. Yeah, that's not where I want to be. I want to be home with my daughter, hanging out.
But also, I think
that all these other and physically, I don't really want to be doing. That's a lot of energy to be giving, right?
But I also think, you know, for us as well, we just like we served our purpose with doing that. And you and I are very big with like we both always thought we have a big calling in this world, and we are meant to make a lot of impact. And I feel like since we're comfortable communicating this and talking to women and saying, no, we'll help you change your life. You know what I mean? Like we have that gift inside of us. So it's like, we have to share it. So it started off, our platform was our classes. And that was where we started to inspire and impact like 20 women in a class. And then that started growing. Then we started inspiring trainers that then started impacting people around them. And then like, now it's like, I feel like as we grow as women and we know like now our whole thing is inspiring and helping women create their own dream businesses in health and fitness and building healthier communities at the same time. So it's kind of like, I think that for us, we're just letting that evolution too happen naturally of what we're interested in. Because like, I used to get just fired up about going to teach my classes as I do about coaching students now. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, but I grew up, and I shouldn't say I grew up. It's like I passed the torch. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I feel like I did what I was meant to do in that area, and then passing the torch to the next generation of instructors to keep bringing that forward.
100%. Yeah, no, definitely.
But so, okay, so our first like little piece of advice is like, get really clear on what you want. So kind of in the spirit of keeping with our storytelling. So after being in business for about like 5 years, this is where we kind of really started to transition our business online. So was it 5 years, 6 years?
It was 6 years.
So this, like for anyone, because I know right now a lot of people are getting into this industry and they're either being like, do I want to do in person? Do I want to go 100% online? Do I want to do a bit of both? Right?
Okay, my feelings right away, I'm going to jump in on that, is if you're not doing a bit of both, you're doing yourself a bit of a disservice from a business standpoint. That's my whole gut feeling, because the amount of scale, the amount of impact that you can make, and the amount of work that you're going to be, like when you're doing just in person, you are limiting yourself to trading hours for dollars. When you are doing online, you can then scale your business in a different way. You can literally make money while you're sleeping, because you could literally be having programs, you could have ebooks, you could have anything that people can be purchasing that's pre-done, that you can still be building and growing your business, making impact, helping these people achieve whatever the end result is. But then at the same time, you don't have to be physically present doing all of this all the time, because you only have so many hours in the day.
Completely. And I also think it depends on where you are at. Like, obviously, if you're just certified right now, you're just getting certified and you're like, well, what do I want to do? I still believe that going in person, like training, like you said, like both, because you've got to also hone your skills. You've got to hone your style. You've got to make sure that you're like, you know what your brand is and you know what your voice is in this industry. Like we all have something to say, right? Like we just have a different way to say it. It's like Fit Chicks. Like we're not talking about anything that is like necessarily 100% different than somebody at, you know, the gym down the street. Fitness and nutrition, there's a lot of similarities, but the way we deliver it, the way we package it, the way we approach it, our brand, our vibe, that's what makes us different. That's what makes people want to listen to us versus them, or listen to them versus us, right? But like, I think, if you're first starting out, like you definitely need to hone your skills. But like, if you already have an existing fitness business or an existing nutrition business, like you said, I think you're doing a disservice if you're not starting to learn how to take this online. Because not only the fact that you can make a lot more money and scale a lot quicker, but also because you can help a lot more people. And
that's what I mean by impact. Yeah. Like you can impact people around the world then, as opposed to just within your community.
And I also think though, like, cause we'll have some students or some of our clients say like, oh, but I'm so nervous about doing like the online stuff. Of course you're nervous. Like everyone's like the first time doing a video is super weird, right? Like you're not acting like yourself. You're like, oh, hi. Like sometimes you're like, why do I have RBF? Like resting bitch face. Or why do I do that with my hands all the time? Right? Like you become overcritical, but it's like,
my solution to that is you just don't watch it. I never watch our videos. I have never to this day seen any of our Shape Up series. I have never watched anything. I can't because I'm critical on myself and I judge myself constantly. So I just do it and I'm like, I hope it was good.
Or
I just walk away from it.
Yeah. Or even when you're filming it, like you're doing a Facebook Live or you're doing whatever, turn off your camera. You don't need to see your face on the screen and just talk to the camera and then worry about it later. Because there was one of our coaches, he was saying, if you're worried about if you're going to suck, like you are going to suck, but one day you'll just suck a little bit less and then you'll suck a little bit less and then you'll suck a little bit less. And then one day you'll be good at it. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just that kind of like
the scale of sucking.
But I think like if you already have an existing fitness business, you already have a following, and not only to impact more people like around the world, but I also think for your clients in this day and age, people need accessibility, right? So even if your client lives 5 kilometers away from you and just say they're like, oh my God, I have a sick baby at home. I still want to do my training session. And you're like, okay, great. I offer online training where I actually will video you in and having that option. That's amazing. Like there's so many things that you can do. And like you said, done for you programs and all of this stuff, but it's like,
well, it's proven. It's to add to what your point was. It's proven that the number one reason why people purchase in today's society is based on convenience.
For sure.
They will buy a membership at a gym because it's across the street versus your gym just because it's across the street. Not because they like the programming better or they like the trainers better or anything, or they have anything different to offer. It might even be worse in terms of like environment or whatever, but they'll buy it because it's there. So if you have something online, you're providing that ultimate convenience, and that's what's going to help people make that decision that much easier for them to purchase.
And also in addition to like, your current clients, like if your clients move, that's one thing that's huge in fitness or nutrition.
Yeah.
Like it's like having a hairdresser, right? Like when your hairdresser leaves,
I hate when the hairdresser.
Yeah, you're like look how long my hair is because I haven't found a new one that I trust. It's like that is where, or you follow them, right? That's the same thing with great trainers. Like people will follow you, but just say your clients move to another country and they still want to work with you. Then you're not going to lose clients. You're not going to be worried about turnover and flipping. You have something to offer them, right? So like,
you're not stressing them out either.
Yeah. So like, even for us, like when we around year 6 took our business, now we did things a little bit differently. So we had already been offering some online challenges and things like that, but it was to like our current list. So it was like to like only our current list of clients.
Yeah. It was just a very small sort of little offering scale.
Yeah. We weren't focusing on list building. We weren't focusing on trying to, Facebook ads and getting more people into our list. We were just offering some online challenges that supported our boot camp and things like that.
Yeah.
Then during that time, we started to get a lot of people coming to us. Pretty much our whole time, like we were in business, about, wanting to teach for us. They weren't certified, wanting to ask us questions about different things to do with teaching, about nutrition, coaches that were coming to us to learn more about how to build a business. Like there were so many things that were happening.
Yeah.
And then we were like, okay, obviously people need this. So we created the Fitness and Nutrition Expert Program. Mm-hmm. And it was so funny when we first started it, because of course, like we didn't have any idea like how to run an online program.
At first we actually were going to run it in person.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So guys, like just know that like even when we were beginning our FitChicks Academy, which is our online academy, before we launched it, we actually tried to launch it in person. We talked about it. We were like, yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to do it at a school. We're going to do it in a classroom setting, this and that. We're going to do this. Yeah. And then we were halfway through the launch and we had some people signed up for it. And we were like, I don't want to do it. We had that same feeling that we had when we had this, the office, where it's like, I don't want to have to go there 3 times a week and teach and do all this stuff in person, because that's a lot of time, not only teaching the class, but traveling, finding parking, like all that stuff, that added stress in Toronto, the traffic, everything else. We were like, I don't want to do it. And so we're like, and then other people, we'd be like, well, what if they miss the class? How do we get them in?
Well, and that was the other thing.
What about this? What about that? Like, and there's so many different scenarios that come into play. So we're like, we got to just take this online. And it was just so clear to us that that was the necessity.
Well, and this is where like it was so interesting because like when we first started doing, like obviously we launched it to our list, we had people sign up. We didn't have the program written, which is a common misconception for a lot of people. They think that, you know, if they're going to launch an online program, they have to build it behind the scenes for like a year before they can launch it out to their clients, which actually it's the opposite. And one of my coaches uses this example, which I think is really fitting when people are like, well, isn't that kind of like you're scamming people? Like you're telling them, oh, like
No.
I have this program, it's not even built. And it's almost like signing up for like university, right? Like you pay for something that you're getting later on and you're going to get the learning later on. And they haven't done their lesson plans yet. They haven't done their, you know what I mean? So it's almost like what we did was we ended up essentially building as we went. We had our outline written, we had all of the structure of the program, but what we wanted to do as well was because we wanted feedback, right? Like we wanted to keep tightening it up. So when we
evolving it with us. Exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, when we first launched the Fitness and Nutrition Expert program, it literally, we taught every class live, but it was taped. We had folders in Dropbox. We would email people the sheets. We would email them the video. Like it was so not the way we have it now with a super cool membership site and everything's housed there. And we have uploads and downloads and all this stuff, which, you know, again, it sounds daunting, but it's just a process. You need to learn how to do it.
Yeah. It's just putting the right systems in place.
Yeah. But it's the whole idea too of being perfect, right? Like our first round, if we would have waited till we were perfect, we probably still would be building now. And that's one thing with our students is because once they have access, they have lifetime access. So it wasn't like the first people missed out. They still get all the upgrades. They get access to everything as they go. So it's not as if, you know, they suddenly are like, okay, you're out of the picture. Sorry that you had the first one where you got emailed the links. But the thing that was great though was the feedback was amazing about the program, even when it wasn't in a pretty box yet, you know, because the content was so good.
Yeah.
So that's where
worry more about delivering on the content and what it is that you're providing, the service, the end result, and less about the packaging, especially when it comes to something like this, like especially when it comes to like educating or providing a service, or if you're providing meal plans or something. Worry about, like, even if it's in an Excel sheet, if it's going to get the people the results, that's what they care about. They don't care as much about it being on this beautiful like Canva doc. I mean, if you can do it, great. But if you're going to spend weeks building all this stuff out, just launch it as is and then develop it. And as it evolves, give them the evolution.
Because energy, like, is so interesting, right? Like energy is finite resource. Like we only have so much energy that we can give. But also energy is so interesting when we put something out in the world, it actually starts to come to life. And that's one thing I've always loved about our programs and I've loved about online is just that it's that whole idea of like, we have this, we're creating something from a concept in our mind that now becomes this living, breathing, essentially thing, right? That other people are
experiencing. Still blows me away. Yeah.
It's crazy. But so for anyone listening, like, so kind of our first piece of advice, and we're kind of taking you on our story at the same time, is get clear on what you want. Like we said, get clear on the life you want, get clear on, you know, what that looks like to you. And only you can figure that out. No one can do that for you. Secondly, when you're thinking about going into, if you're just getting certified in person, we still recommend doing in person and online.
And don't let. Yeah. Sorry, go on. I was just going to say, and don't let outside people, resources, or ideas that you see on social media impact how you decide to run your business.
No.
Like, just run it the way that you feel is natural to you and that like makes you excited. If you feel that thing lights you up and it makes you pumped, then do it. And if it doesn't follow suit to what everybody else is doing or what they believe is the right way, or, you know, all those coaches, like, I mean, I read about it all the time, and like I stopped following these people because they'd be like, oh, if you don't get up at 5 a.m, you're a failure and this and that. And I was like, I'm not following you anymore because I don't do that at all.
But that's where, so if you have in person already, then seriously, you have to start considering creating an online program or an online course.
Yeah.
Now that's where, so when we started the Fitness and Nutrition Expert program, we knew who we wanted to serve. We knew what our transformation was that we wanted to offer. So we wanted to help women become certified fitness and nutrition coaches and help them build amazing businesses. We knew that. And the transformation and what we were providing them with was becoming that throughout the 12-week certification, they would start and then they would finish with their goal of becoming a certified fitness and nutrition coach and be able to start their own business. So that's the transformation that we provided. So this is one thing that I think that a lot of people get really unclear on when they're thinking about, okay, yes, I'm thinking about doing an online program. You know, I'm just going to start doing one-off meal plans, or I'm going to start off doing one-off whatever, which is like the worst. Like, you need a system. You need to create a program. You need to create a transformation from A to B. And this is the thing I see. People will send me their programs all the time, and I look at them and I'm like, the problem is you're not even clear on who you're serving, and your offer is not strong enough. Like, it's very just like, sign up for my program. Like, no one cares about your program. What's the transformation that you are going to help them get? They need to understand that very clearly. Because like I said, when someone signs up for a program, they know I'm going to become a certified fitness and nutrition coach and be able to build my business at the end. They know the clear goal. They know the clear path. They know how it works.
Yeah.
But if it's like, sign up for my fitness
course,
my fitness workout of the week. Well, what is the transformation with that? What's the thing that your client or your people are going to get from you? Yeah. And if you don't get clear on that, it's really hard to then do all your marketing and to do your Facebook Lives and to do all that stuff, because you're just kind of blabbing, and then everything gets lost in the noise.
Same thing to add to that too is if you are talking to multiple audiences at once. So if you're like, sign up for my workout program and it's going to help you balance hormones, and then sign up for my nutrition plan that's going to help you lose weight, and then sign up for my challenge that's going to help you sleep better. And like, if you have all these different things, but the end result is not driving to the same thing, you can have a ton of different programs, but you want to have all of your programs driving towards the same result so that all of your messaging will match, right? Because you don't want to be trying to like message here, message there, message here, message there.
Well, and it's and then you're
exactly, and it's hard for you.
It's hard for you, and then you're not going to get your right clients, right? Like, so we have, you know, again, as part of the Fitness Nutrition Expert program, there's a business building section, and Amanda and I also privately coach women in business as well, helping them build their online programs. And that's what I'll see a lot of times. They'll send in stuff to do with like their program. We're working together on creating their course, creating their offerings, and it'll be like, I help women ages 13 to 65 lose weight. Okay, so think about the way you're going to talk to, let's say, an 18-year-old woman versus a 50-year-old woman is going to be totally different. So if your marketing is like marketing to both those age groups, you're not going to attract either one, because like, you know, I always use the example of like post-baby, like postnatal workouts. Yeah. I've never had a child. So I'm not your market, right? But if you're marketing to women, to postnatal, to 13-year-olds, to boo, 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 then you're going to have all these people say, well, actually, you know, if she's doing all of this, how is this really going to benefit me? Yeah. So you just got to get really clear on who it is that you're serving, and speaking to that one problem, speaking to that one thing. And then, like Amanda said, like creating, if you want to create 5 different programs, one on balancing hormones specifically, one on losing weight specifically, then you can do that. But it's this mission.
But make sure it's speaking to the same audience so that your message is the same.
Or have
your voice can stay the same. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so and that's when, you know, there was when we were back in business, there was like taking business courses and stuff like that. I still
back in the day,
I still feel like there was that confusion, because it was almost like people always think more is better, right? But focused is better, because
like, I like that.
If you're hearing, that's my tweetable. If you're talking to, you know, just say you have like 1,000 people on your email list, right? And for a lot of people, that's a lot of people, right? To have 1,000 people on there. But let's say that you were collecting those people, and, you know, like for us, we train women only. Our target audience for most of for our F&E programs is ages 27 to 49. But let's say that we were at an event and we're like, oh yeah, we just want emails, and we're taking emails from men, and we're taking emails from teenagers, and we're taking emails from girls who are, you know, don't have the income to be able to purchase our program. So great, our number of email lists is 1,000 people, but maybe only 100 people on that are actually people who we even want on there, who would even want to buy our products, right? Exactly. So it's better. I'd only rather have 100 people on our list and just focus on making sure we're getting in front of the right eyeballs, because they're more likely to purchase anyways.
Exactly. Yeah. It's all about the quality, not the quantity.
Yeah. So, okay. So we're going to keep going. We've got two more little tips. So as we go along our story. So number 1, we talked about getting clear on what you want. Clarity is power. Number 2, we talked about if you are in person already to start an online program, you need to have one. It essentially, you're going to you're doing yourself a disservice. You're doing everybody else a disservice. And if you're just starting out, to have both, think about doing it in both ways.
Yeah.
Number 3, we talked about getting clear, figuring out who you are serving. So who you are talking to and what is the transformation you're offering them, because it's just insane still how much, even in our coaching group, we do a high level coaching group. We always have coaches too, right?
Yeah.
And still some people, that's where they struggle the most, is with the clarity of their offer. It's very convoluted or not strong enough. And it's just getting clear of okay, I help women ages 18 to 25 who are within 6 months postnatal, get back into working out and lose the baby weight. That's a very specific group, right? As opposed to, I help all women lose baby weight.
Yeah.
Then the next thing is, okay, so you've got the program. So this is something that for a lot of people happen. You've got the program, you're thinking, yeah, I've created this amazing thing. I've got the transformation, I've got whatever. And then no one signs up for it.
You get crickets.
Which for us, that fortunately never happened. But you have to remember, guys, too, we already had a pretty strong following when we went online. So we were already in business for 6 years. So we could market and sell to our list, but we still had to grow because there's only so much you can sell to your current clients, right? Till you run out of clients. You've got to keep growing your clients.
Mm-hmm. Especially because our clients previous, they knew us for one thing. So some of them would be interested in the new, but we had to bring in new clients to be interested in this new aspect of our business, because you can't rely on, just because you're evolving doesn't mean your clients are evolving with you in that way.
Yeah, because we had a lot of clients who just took our boot camps for their own personal health journey. They didn't want to learn more about health.
They don't want to teach it. Exactly. They just wanted to learn it.
Yeah, they just wanted to work out and, feel
have
inspired.
A great community. Yeah.
So this is something that, and this is where at the beginning we were talking about having a system in place, because there's one thing is, and Amanda and I, like I said, we both coach women privately as well as with our groups. And one of my clients that I've been working with, she launched an online program, an 8-week online program. So we went through the steps of essentially, everything that has to happen to build the content, to build your sales funnel, to build all of the stuff. But then you still need eyeballs in front of it. And this is where I think a lot of people, they get really discouraged. And I know we got discouraged with this because, again, we already had this business that we had people sign up for our programs, but we didn't have a 50,000 person social media following, and we still don't. We're building it. We're putting more focus into it, but we were so busy with building the programs and the good content that we started to kind of forget. I shouldn't say forget, but we didn't put as much focus into that piece as we should have. And this is where, a lot of people get frustrated. They're like, why is no one signing up for my program? Well, it's because you probably just don't have enough eyeballs on your program.
Right. It's 100% it. It's usually just oftentimes it's just a numbers thing. It's because it doesn't, even if you have the right people looking at it, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the right time for them, right? Or it's the right fit at this moment in their life. And so it doesn't mean that they're not going to buy it, even if it is the right audience. It just means that they might buy it later. But so don't get discouraged by that. Just keep growing and keep focusing on building that community for you.
Well, and that's where we're not going to get into the nitty gritties of this. We are excitingly enough launching an awesome group coaching business program, which we'll share more information with you guys about after. But this is something that, there's so many, it's all about, for me, this was so eye-opening when I started to really learn about this stuff. Because for so long you're just focused on your craft, right? But when you want to go online, there's so many similarities to in-person growing a business, but there are differences, right? So one of my biggest aha moments too was learning about the different types of traffic. So for example, if you have people, there's cold traffic, there's warm traffic, and then there's super hot traffic. And that basically just means when that person kind of comes in contact with your program. So let's say I'm trying to sell my program, we're trying to sell a fitness nutrition expert program to somebody who's never heard of us before, who has never seen our podcast, who literally clicked on an ad once. the probability of them just signing up from that one ad, seeing that one time, is very, very low.
Yeah.
Right? Because we haven't built that know, like, trust. They haven't vibed with us. I mean, I was thinking about it in my own perspective too. Like when I buy programs, I know you do this too. It's like, I see the ad, I go to the website, I'm looking, then I Google the person, then next thing you know, I'm watching some of their YouTube videos, especially depending on how much the investment is. Then I'm like, then I Google for reviews. And then it's like, so by the time I have actually purchased, they've warmed me up because I've essentially seen a lot of their stuff and I've started to like the way they speak and like what they're offering.
Mm-hmm.
So then that's your warm traffic. Your warm traffic is people who've already engaged with your stuff. So they know you. And then you've got your hot traffic, which is basically people who like are your hardcore hot buyers. They love you. They buy everything you put out. You know what I mean? Like they've been on your list.
They open every email. Yeah.
So they're the easiest people to sell to. So if you're somebody who suddenly you're like, okay, I'm growing my list now, and you are like, why is no one buying? Well, it might not be that they won't buy. It's just that they're not warm enough yet, right? They're still cold. They're like, I don't know this girl. Who is she? Like,
you got to nurture them. You got to nurture them with emails, with videos, with social media, with everything, so that they understand that who they're buying from is someone that they can trust to give them the result that they're purchasing. Like that they're actually buying something that is going to work. Because people are, especially online, people are really apprehensive. Yeah. And they should be, because there's a lot of crap out there.
There's a lot of crap. And like, it's just one of those things too, like, one of our coaches also says a lot, like if you're going to do something between like even a video versus a written email, and some people have different strengths, right? Like some people are stronger with writing, some people are stronger with video. But if you're going to do video is so much more powerful than writing, because once you're doing video, essentially, then it's like you can fully, I shouldn't say fully connect, but people can see you more. People like that energy, that vibe, not just what you're saying, but they want to see like who they're learning from. Because I know for you and I, one of the things I'm like, not to toot our own horn, but one thing that we get a lot of feedback from, because we run surveys a lot, is that people love taking our programs and love our classes because they like our delivery. They like our energy, they like our style, they like the way we deliver content. And that's really hard to translate when you're just doing written stuff, right? When you're talking things through, it's a lot different.
100%.
That's our number 4. And then we'll wrap this up. So this is our number 5 thing. So number 4, we're just talking about, if you have got your program done and you're launching it and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I don't have anyone. It is probably just that you don't have enough eyeballs. And that's a fixable problem, people. Like we can help you fix that. Like it just means either you need to grow your list organically, or you need to get more traffic. And that's totally doable. Yeah. And then it just takes time. And then the last thing I think that for us, the one thing that I think that made our program, so after we launched it the first time, like we said, it was like kind of not this pretty packaged, whatever, but we always do a debrief and we always invest in making it better, whether it be time, whether it be like we're like so many people, like I said, they'll launch something once, it doesn't work, or it doesn't get a great response, or something happens and they just think, okay, it's not good, and they don't use it anymore. Yeah. But in all reality, like if you sit down, like, how can I take this and make it better? What do I need to remove? What do I need to add? Do I need to upgrade my systems? Do I need, you know what I mean? Like sometimes it'd be the smallest tweak, but every time, even we just, wrapped up one of our last programs, launched a new one. We took the feedback from the last one, make it better, make it better, make it better.
Yeah, of course. And also, one of the things that I speak with one of my clients about is, she launched a program and it kind of was like, it didn't have as much traffic or energy as she wanted, but it's like, how can we take this then and repackage it? Can we just change it? Is it just the delivery is it the information is amazing, but is it that we can just repackage it so that it's now an ebook, or it's something like that people can purchase, because maybe the way that it's being delivered is not the way that it's meant to be interpreted by people, right? So you have to look at it from all different aspects, as opposed to just saying, this isn't working, I don't want to do it. It's like, well, can we do it differently? Can we just switch it up and try it in a different way? Because if we do that, then maybe it'll produce amazing results, and you have no idea unless you try it. You have to keep testing things.
Well, and even just going back to what we said about like, our thing number 3, which was basically like, okay, are you talking to the right people? Is your offer providing a clear transformation? Maybe it's just the way it's written. Maybe your title needs to be stronger.
Yeah.
Maybe there needs to be a small tweak. Like, we've had clients come to us who have worked with other business coaches, and they're like, I created this program, blah, 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 give us the whole package. And they're like, why isn't this working? And it's like, okay, well, honestly, it's because we got to go back to the beginning. We've got to change the verbiage. It's not strong enough. And then of course, looking at other things.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yep.
So yeah, and with that, I mean, for us, we continue to grow and grow and grow and grow. We know if it's possible for us, guys, it's possible for you. Like, that's the bottom line. Like people, so many people are like, why have you guys been successful for so long? How have you guys been in this business for so long? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, literally, there's nothing different between us as there is you. It's just that we are open to change. We're open to learning. We're open to growing. And
we put in the work.
And it doesn't.
We put in the work. We work hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys. It's not just like throw a system in place and just watch the money roll in. It's literally like work and work and work and work and learn and grow and switch and change and debrief and talk and bring outside resources in and see how we can evolve and continue to build and answer the needs of our clients. We look to them to figure out what we need to do.
And that's where, even with, like I said earlier, with our new business group coaching program, that's essentially, you know, the people that we want to work with. So if you're out there and you're like, yeah, I want to work hard, I don't make excuses, I want to do, like, make this happen for myself, then, you know, we would love to help you. We have more information coming up, fitchexacademy.com/bizbuilder. You can check out a little bit more information. We're still in the pre-launching phases, but it's coming out soon. So, and of course you can email us at info@fitchix.ca, because we truly are committed to getting women unstuck. So much of the time, it's something so simple. It could be an actual logistics of your program. It could be mindset, but that's the point of, you know, hiring an outside coach, joining a group coaching program, is to push you through these blocks. And I know for us, we've spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in outside help, but every time we have, the investment has paid off 100-fold.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, we'll do a whole separate podcast on why you need a coach, because like literally it will change everything in your business and in your life. Yeah.
Game changing.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So check it out, fitchexacademy.com/bizbuilder. Leave in the comments below. We want to hear from you. Do you have an online program? And if you do, how is it doing, or where are you feeling like you're stuck? So we can start to see where you guys are at and where we can help you. And of course, email us as well. Like, we love talking about topics on the business podcast to help you guys grow your business mindset, and just keep kicking butt. Like, we need more and more female health professionals more than ever. So we want to make sure that we're helping you guys do that and get there. Okay?
Okay.
So
thanks for listening.
We'll talk to you later, guys. Bye.
Okay, bye.